the oil and gas cap, the federal industrial carbon tax, drilling and tanker bans, gas and diesel vehicle bans, and innovation censorship law. The United States, our biggest customer and competitor, does not impose any of these costs or red tape on their private sector proponents and entrepreneurs and investors. So when will you actually deal with all of these issues?
Gang, what's up? Aaron here, Canadian Looney. Smash the like, hit subscribe. We've got Natural Resources Committee action here with our Energy Minister, Tim Hodgson. He's lackluster, a slow-moving guy. We've got Shannon Stubbs, a cowgirl from Alberta, demanding accountability from our Energy Minister. Let's see if she can get any. They're going to try to block her. Let's take a peek.
So per clause 593 and 594 of the BIA, of course, Conservatives do support extending LNG export licenses for to 50 years for long-term certainty, and we've pushed for LNG approvals consistently for the reasons you've now articulated, except since 2015, as you know, the current federal government approved only 4 of 18 Canadian LNG proposals, and only the one that Conservatives approved, LNG Canada 1 and also 2 at the same time, actually operates, while the U.S. approved 26 with 16 building and operating. The U.S., of course, is the world's lead exporter now. The government of Canada turned away Europe, so other countries moved to fill the gap. Mexico is poised to beat Canada. So my first question is just how can Liberals claim to want Canada to be an energy superpower when those are actually the facts on Canadian LNG?
Thank you for your question. I think I can say with humbleness and humility, this is a new government with a new prime minister, with a new minister of energy and natural resources, with new parliamentary secretaries, with a different leadership in the civil service that the Prime Minister has put in place, which I think has very clearly shown a different approach to energy.
Okay.
As our Prime Minister has said...
Thank you, Minister. So let's move on to the current situation, because you did mention your referrals of LNG Canada 2 and the Slissoms project, which of course could have been done immediately after your election, not so long after now. But I do have some questions, therefore, about this process, since we're going to talk about the future. So in addition to those referrals, on November 13th, 2025, you also referred the critical tungsten Sisson mine in New Brunswick to the MPO. We support that, of course. What's the target date for completion?
I don't have that in front of me.
Your point of order, Mr. Gay?
Yeah, my question is, I thought we were supposed to stay on topic, and now we're in mining.
Ms. Stubbs, relevance, if you could stick to
Sure,
the
the
topic
relevance
of the
is that this is questions to the Natural Resources Minister about natural resources projects. He himself has just mentioned the new approach that he claims, so I'm going to ask him questions about it.
Yes,
and it's all relevant.
We are specifically discussing 593, 594 of Bill C-15, and so if you could at least draw some connection to that, I would appreciate it.
I did at the top, and I do want to confirm that my time has been paused,
Yes,
because
it
I
has.
did draw the connection
Yes,
at
it
the
is.
top, according to the Minister's own answer.
Proceed.
Great, thank you. So we support the referral of the tungsten mine in New Brunswick, as well as the referral of the Slissoms LNG project. But I think the key question is, what are the target dates for completion? And I only raise this with you because the same Liberal government promised construction on the tungsten mine in 2018, but it's 2026. So when will construction start?
I am just trying to find the update.
So I think the concern is that even if you're referring projects to the MPO, is it true then that projects are being referred without deadlines for construction?
No, the target. It took me a little while to find. I don't have it all to memory. We have regular updates at the MPO, and the update I'm looking at targets FID for the Sisson mine in 2027. It targets construction start date in 2029 with an in-service date of 2030.
So that's that wouldn't be building in speeds never seen before in generations, I guess. But on this point, Minister, during the debate on C5, I tried to entrench the timeline that you want to achieve. You said you wanted to achieve of 2 years by an amendment into the law. It was rejected by the Liberals. Would you consider putting the 2-year timeline in the law? Because the only thing that matters is in the legislation.
Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, colleagues, this is
Chair.
about LNG, according to the notice of meeting. So, Ms. Stubbs, I would ask you to speak to the topic at hand.
Okay, sure. Minister, since Conservatives agree with you that LNG projects are in the national interest, and we consistently for 10 years have been pushing to fast-track LNG approvals and exports so that Canada could beat the U.S. and so that we could supply a fuel for European allies to get off Russian gas, one concern I have is that your government does say projects in the national interest will be approved. I asked your government to define it in the debates on Bill C5 and also again in the fall. Your government refused both times. So how can proponents or investors in LNG and all other sectors know what will make the cut with your government, since they need clarity and certainty, and you yourself have made that point very compellingly? Time?
So in both LNG Canada 1 and in Silicums, there's an regular ongoing dialogue once the referral is made to the MPO. There is ongoing interaction. The commitment is within 2 years you will get a conditions document, and that will tell you what you need to do to operate.
And so for Canadians who understand that, that means that there's going to be at least a 2-year process, and then there will be an approval with conditions, and then there are quite a few years probably after that before we're actually getting a shovel in the
if
ground.
if we deliver a conditions document in 2 years, that is best in OECD. That is a world-class performance. I will say that some of our colleagues south of the border will say we'll do it in 30 days. There is no way that a 30-day review process is a sustainable process. It may work for a short period of time.
Thank you.
And those are emergency provisions. They do most at 6
thank you
months,
both.
and that's
Thank
what
you
Conservatives
both.
have proposed.
We're going to go on to...
We'll get back to the absurdity of Canadian federal politics in a moment. Just a friendly reminder to smash the like, hit subscribe. Please leave a comment below if you have something to share.
For point of order?
Just for efficiency, for respect for the minister's schedule, and for all of us, and also to support our colleague, Mr. Simard, I just think we have to wrap this up right now so we don't continue to have these interruptions. The minister is perfectly capable of answering these questions. He's extremely experienced. He's going to have no problem, so he doesn't need anybody running interference. Thank you, Chair. So, Minister, you yourself have clearly outlined the catastrophic, tragic loss of those 16 LNG projects that, in fact, have been cancelled under the last 10 years of this Liberal government, billions of dollars lost. And the story that you've told about Indigenous people and partners on LNG Canada is, of course, exactly the story of the development of the Alberta oil sands, which I know that you know well. And I just want to put on your radar that in the debates on C5, I raised the point that judicial decisions, of course, say the decision makers must be at the table with a two-way dynamic with Indigenous communities. I proposed amendments to safeguard this issue in C5. The Liberals defeated my amendment. I fear that decisions that are going to come out of C5 will be challenged in court precisely because the Crown is not taking on its duty to consult to get these projects done in a good way. So I just want to flag that for you. And since you mentioned real proponents and real projects, I need to get back to this issue we discussed before that you raised. Here is the trouble, I think, for Canada, which is also urgent, is that 21 real projects are stuck at the Canadian Energy Regulator right now. There are 8 stuck at the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission, and 43 real projects with real proponents are stuck at the Impact Assessment Agency. So you yourself, and I have a quote here, during the debates in June on Bill C5 said that this bill allows us to do all the things we need to do in one centralized place under one set of timelines and to take those learnings to go back and deal with the other acts over time. So my question is, since 72 projects are in limbo right now with only 11 referrals, but no clear path to construction in sight, when will those laws and regs that are listed in Bill C5 that you've designed to do a workaround be fixed for everyone, all proponents in all sectors, to attract investment and jobs to Canada and give confidence in Canada as a place to invest and build?
So in the homework I did in advance of today, my understanding is from an export license perspective, there have been 3,600 export licenses issued by the CER. The vast majority of them are regular export licenses, and they get approved on average within 2 days.
Okay. So
and
that's not referring to the projects and proponents that I am, but...
And there are 35 major projects that have been put forward through the CER, and they take on average, I believe, 18, is it 18 months? 180 days. And what I was told is 100% of them cleared within 180 days.
So here's my concern. I know that every Liberal at this table is new. I've been here since 2015, and I led the debate on C-69. There were claims that there were concrete timelines in that bill. There were none. And I tried to put concrete timelines into C-5. There are none. So this is why Canadians and Conservatives who agree with you that Canada faces a crisis are very concerned about this clarity. So to that end, and since you're mentioning new projects, in December you did announce an MOU to work towards a Pacific pipeline. I think most Canadians, Albertans expect this work is happening. Can you update on the federal Crown's Indigenous consultation to date?
So the MPO is waiting for the proponent to come forward. When the proponent comes forward and says they want to move forward, then the consultation will start. From the MPO perspective.
Okay. So this is exactly the challenge because judicial
you,
precedence and your own law says cabinet is the decision maker. So it can't be the MPO's job. But I need to move on, Minister, with limited time. So since you mentioned competitiveness with the United States, which Conservatives have been pushing Liberals to pay attention to for the last 10 years, and Conservatives want Canadians to beat the United States. But of course, now the U.S. is both Canada's biggest customer and competitor. And here's a question I think for the long term that all of us should be grasped with. What Canadians should be focusing on is what Canada can control, not unpredictable or hostile actions from anyone else. So here's the issue. Your government has the ability to allow Canada to compete by removing the federal costs and red tape that are placed on Canadian workers and businesses, like the oil and gas cap, the federal industrial carbon tax, drilling and tanker bans, gas and diesel vehicle bans, and innovation censorship law. The United States, our biggest customer and competitor, does not impose any of these costs or red tape on their private sector proponents and entrepreneurs and investors. So when will you actually deal with all of these issues, some of which are also in C5, so that Canadian entrepreneurs, business owners can compete with the United States so we can be self-reliant, affordable, and secure?
Minister, the short answer, if you could.
We are controlling what we can control. We've set 2 years to a conditions document. We're doing one project, one review. The Americans, in my opinion, are taking an unsustainable approach. And when capital providers look at what you go in the U.S. from the IRA at one extreme to the big, beautiful bill at the other extreme, you cannot allocate capital when you have that kind of seesawing in regulatory frameworks. We've provided, I think, a far
Except
more...
right now, the United States is the world's leading exporter of LNG, so they figured out something out, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Mrs. Stubbs.
We'll wrap it up right there, gang. Smash the like, hit subscribe, get your Canadian federal politics right here. I'm Aaron, and this is a spot to get a lot of committee coverage, legacy media, things from Parliament Hill. That's it. Thank you for watching this video. We'll catch you in the next one. Ciao for now. Smash the like, hit subscribe. Catch you next time.